hear arguments on a case pertaining to the validity of DACA.
Andrew Meehan sits down with Sabrina Lemere from the women's basketball team.
You know, I think the Supreme Court was right to deny cert in this case. It's pretty clear that the Connecticut Supreme Court was right, and Connecticut is right.
We have the latest on the lawsuit between gun manufacturers and the victims of the Sandy Hook school massacre. We have highlights from all around Eastern sports, including men's soccer's matchup against Keene State in the Little East Conference Championship game. This tonight on the November 14th edition of ETV News. Good evening, everyone. I'm Connor O'Malley.
And I'm Julia Florence. Thank you for joining us. On Tuesday, school officials held a news conference in support of DACA. Tyler Madden has more from the Student Center.
Connecticut's Attorney General William Tong traveled to the Student Center as the Supreme Court begins deliberations on a case pertaining to DACA.
Well, I wanted the students to know that we're with them and they're not alone, and that we understand their stories. We share so much with them and what they're going through, and they have tremendous courage.
That was the message from officials Tuesday at a news conference as the Supreme Court held arguments on a case related to the validity of DACA. The Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals is an executive order signed by President Obama in 2012 that gives protection to immigrants who were brought to the U.S. as children. The case in question challenges how the Trump White House brought an end to DACA.
One of the things that I'm most proud is that Connecticut stands tall today. The Attorney General led Connecticut to be one of the 17 states that is joining the group that is asking the Supreme Court to look at this case and to render a decision that's fair and based on the American values, because these kids are here to get the American dream and they deserve to stay.
There are 205 DACA students currently attending Eastern, with 30 of them being from Connecticut. DACA students from all across the country come to Eastern. 13 U.S. states are referred to as lockout states. States where DACA students have limited access to financial aid, and limits are put on the schools they can apply to. One of those states being Georgia, a state that Eastern senior Maria Elena Ruiz Gonzalez calls home.
In the state of Georgia, we're not allowed in-state tuition, we're not allowed financial aid, and they do ban us from some of the most, prestigious public institutions there.
DACA is only a temporary fix for students, as recipients have to reapply every 2 years.
Every 2 years, I worry that my new renewal won't come on time for when the one I currently have expires.
According to President Nunez, DACA students at Eastern have an average GPA of 3.4.
And these students are role models. They want to contribute to this country in significant ways.
We want them here to help power this economy and strengthen our communities, and we'll do everything we can to help them and their families.
And for some who were brought to the U.S. as young children, this is the only country they've ever known.
Loved by people in this country who believe that this is a great American democracy.
The court is expected to release their decision on the case by June. Reporting from right here in the Student Center, Tyler Madden, ETV News.
The Freedom at Eastern group and College Dems hosted their own panel discussion Tuesday, featuring DACA students who answered questions about their current status and the impact that DACA has on people in the local community. An attempted armed robbery was reported near campus last Thursday. Eastern police sent out an email to students Friday morning stating that an Eastern student was the victim of an attempted strong-arm robbery and assault in the Wyndham Tech parking lot. At approximately 9:15 p.m., a male and female student walked to the Wyndham Tech parking lot to purchase a cell phone after using the Let Go app. The male student stated that 2 male suspects and a blue Kia got out of the car and attempted to rob him and then assaulted him. The incident was interrupted by a worker at Wyndham Tech, and the students fled without taking anything. The male student was treated at Wyndham Hospital for minor injuries and released. The female student was not injured. The Eastern Police Department suggests that students pick a better location to do any online transaction.
What we're suggesting is to go to someplace public. Our police department is open 24/7, 365. We have a small lobby here, but all somebody really needs to do is stop into the lobby to say, hey, I'm conducting an online transaction with someone I don't know. Can I do it here in the lobby, or can I do it out in the parking lot here? Especially if you're the initiator of that online sale, you have the power as to where you want to meet, and we're suggesting that people, select a spot that's going to be safe for them, and don't let somebody talk you into a spot where they want you to go.
We reached out to Eastern Police as to the status of the investigation, and they tell ETV News that the case has been turned over to Connecticut State Police. Anyone with information is asked to call CT State Police Troop K.
On Monday, Eastern's Vet Center held their annual Veterans Day celebration. Students, staff, and community members had the opportunity to join a performance from Eastern's choir, as well as learn from guest speakers that served in our armed forces.
Today we take a pause to recognize the service of our servicemen and women to our great nation. It is important to recognize the service that our veterans have given.
Veterans spoke about what the day means to them and how they celebrate and honor their fellow veterans. Yesterday, Eastern's Visual Arts and Radio Clubs held an event together where club members decorated old records and were able to network and collaborate with each other. If anyone is interested in joining either club, they both meet every Wednesday at 3 p.m.
There are a number of places here in the community that do their part in helping people in need. ETV News' Maggie Shaws has the story of the Covenant Soup Kitchen.
With the holiday season approaching, nonprofit organizations around campus like the Covenant Soup Kitchen could use the extra hands, making sure nobody goes hungry.
Along with needing volunteers, donations are greatly appreciated.
UConn and Eastern are very, very good at helping us out and giving us things that they have from their dining halls that are frozen. So I implement them into the breakfast. Like this morning, they had pancakes and they can have home fries. I don't make them from scratch, but if they come in like that, we can do hard-boiled eggs here and sausages and things like that. So we try in the winter months to give them, a hot meal because it's cold.
It says it on the door. We're open 8:30 to 4. We're here at 7:30. We could be here at 6:30. We could be here at 7. You just try to help one another and show love and humanity to each other.
Well, I live by myself, so I like to be with a lot of people, talk with people, and get the help that I need.
I like it because it helps a lot of people, and over here there's a lot of people that come in here and we associate and we share stuff that they donate, and it's like a therapy at the same time. It's like an organization real tight.
Along with providing meals, the emergency food pantry is open Monday through Friday for those in need, relying on the generosity of the community.
The Covenant Soup Kitchen is located on 220 Valley Street, right here in Willimantic. They are open daily from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m.
When we come back, we have another edition of ETV News' One-on-One, as Andrew Meehan recently sat down with Sabrina Lemere of the women's basketball team. Stay with us.
All right, Monroe, you ready? Monroe. Here we go, the butterfly.
Ready?
Ooh.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover their unique mix of all kinds of traits.
Where'd Wiley go? Where's Wiley? Ah, there she is. Paw?
Do you remember being an ancient wolf? Do you ever feel the call of the wild?
You're a renegade cop, and I'm a con woman with nothing to prove. But together, we could really solve this murder.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but all of them are pure love.
Our hearts are made stronger by how we treat others.
Put her there.
The light you share can impact those around you, but so can the darkness.
Later, twerps. Did Pete saying mean things bother you?
So when you reach out to another person, take a moment to consider how they will feel and let your heart be the key to making a difference. Because of you, someone's entire day, year, or even life can change.
In every heart, there's hope.
Andrew Meehan recently sat down with senior guard Sabrina Lemere of the women's basketball team. Take a look.
Welcome back to another edition of ETV News One-on-One. I'm Andrew Meehan. The women's basketball season begins this weekend, and joining me tonight is senior guard Sabrina Lemere. Sabrina, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
So let's go back to last year, the Little East Conference Finals in UMass Dartmouth, playing UMass Dartmouth. You guys pushed that game to overtime. Tell me how much of an important win that was for you guys.
Oh, that was an awesome win. It was so exhilarating. Like, we were all ready to go. We were working the whole season just for that game, and it was such an intense game, and it was a great win, and we were all fired up. I mean, it was crazy how it ended, and it was awesome that we were able to win the conference championship.
It was an absolute thrill. I mean, up and down for the score, and then just going into overtime. So coming off the championship year, what do you think are some of the expectations and goals coming into this season?
Well, this season we have a lot of goals and expectations. Obviously, like, our main goals, we have win the LEC regular tournament, win the LEC tournament, and then make a good run in the NCAA tournament would be ideal. And then our expectations is just to keep the positive energy like we always do, have a good team chemistry, and just be 100% no matter what, like practicing games, like just always be mentally ready to go.
So you guys lost one senior last year, Kelsey Santagata, with a lot of returning experience coming back to the lineup for this season. How do you think that's going to help the team out?
Well, obviously Kelsey is going to be a hard loss. I mean, we loved her. She was great teammate, great player. She was a great role model. But I do think that the experience coming back is going to be good for the team. I think that we have 4 great seniors that are going to lead the team really well. And I think some of the underclassmen that are returning that got some minutes last year are going to do some big things again this year.
So this weekend the team will be playing in the Trinity College tip-off tournament, playing Trinity on Friday, and then a team that's to be announced on Saturday. What do you think the team should be looking forward to heading up into this matchup?
Well, obviously, the teams that we're going to be playing are going to be tough teams. I mean, we start off with Trinity. They're a NESCAC team. We had a tough game against them last year, but we are looking to have some good wins this weekend. I think we're really prepared. I think that we have a really good vibe right now, and we're just ready to play some games.
All right, once again, I'm joined by senior guard Sabrina Lemere of the women's basketball team. Sabrina, thanks again for your time, and good luck this season.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
The Warriors' first home game of the year will be on Saturday, November 23rd, as they are set to take on Western New England at 1 o'clock. I'm Andrew Meehan. Now let's send it back to Connor and Julia.
Thanks, Andrew. Still ahead, we have the latest on the lawsuit between gun manufacturers and the families of the Sandy Hook school shooting. Don't go away.
There was a time in my life where I was extremely homesick. I decided that I needed a pet. When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. He jumped up and kissed me and jumped right into my arms. I immediately went up to the volunteers at the shelter and said, I want him. He's got to come home with me. Now I'm anything but lonely. Every day with Turtle is a perfect day and keeps me company when I'm doing schoolwork. I like it when he jumps up on the table too. He is a veggie thief. He's an incredible companion and my best friend. Can't say that I've met anybody that doesn't love him too. When I adopted Turtle, I discovered all the things that make him unique. He's a little bit of a lot of things, but mostly he's all pure love.
Hey, let's check out this park. Oh, wow, that's really cool. To find a great local park or forest near you, go to discovertheforest.org.
Thanks for staying with us. I'm Connor O'Malley. A major ruling from the Supreme Court. It won't stop victims of the Sandy Hook school massacre from suing the manufacturer of the gun used in the 2012 shooting. The court decided not to take up any appeal by Remington Arms Company. Police said Adam Lanza used a rifle to kill 20 first graders and 6 adults at the elementary school in Newtown. Sandy Hook families say the gun should have never been sold to the public because it is a military-style weapon. A lawsuit claimed Remington violated trade laws when it marketed the rifle.
You don't have to be a direct purchaser to have a cause of action, and clearly the Supreme Court also thinks that state law prevails here and controls here, and that the plaintiffs should have every opportunity to press their case in court, and they'll do that, and as we have in the past, we support their efforts.
The ruling to allow the lawsuit marks a blow to the gun industry. It could open the door to other victims and families of gun violence to sue gun manufacturers for damages.
A man's lungs were so damaged from vaping, he needed a double lung transplant. That's according to doctors at Henry Ford Health System in Detroit. Officials believe it's the first double lung transplant in the U.S. needed because of damage done by vaping. The patient asked the hospital to share his story to warn others. As of November 5th, the CDC says there have been more than 2,000 vaping-related injuries across the country, with the exception of Alaska.
The FBI says 11 people have been arrested in a massive fraud scheme involving fake Apple products. At a press conference in San Diego Wednesday, officials said the suspects imported more than 10,000 counterfeit iPhones and iPads to the U.S. Investigators believe those devices were then exchanged for authentic ones at Apple stores, and those Apple phones and tablets were then sold in China, with the suspects pocketing the extra money. The FBI says that people behind schemes like this one are becoming increasingly sophisticated. Apple is believed to have lost about $6 million. Investigators are still looking for 3 more people.
Disney Plus has amassed 10,000 subscribers in just 1 day of existence. Disney made the announcement about its new streaming service on Wednesday. The claim seems to back up Disney's story that the platform crashed because of demand that exceeded their highest expectations. Disney Plus is projected to have reached 60 to 90 million global subscribers by 2025. That said, Disney has a long way to go to catch up with Netflix's 160 million subscribers. It's not known how many of the 10 million new accounts will stick with the service after the 7-day free trial. Subscribers have access to the company's biggest brands, including Marvel, Star Wars, Disney Animation, and Pixar. The company has also placed a warning on some of its older content that may contain outdated cultural stereotypes, certain depictions which were seen as entirely normal at the time they were created, but may seem inappropriate now. Classics like Dumbo, The Jungle Book, and Peter Pan may have some scenes that viewers may find offensive or insensitive.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
It's also an adorable day in this neighborhood. Look at these baby Mr. Rogers. They're all decked out in little red cardigans, ties, and khaki pants. These newborns at West Penn Hospital are celebrating Cardigan Day, the local PBS station spin-off of World Kindness Day, which was Wednesday. In Pittsburgh, it makes total sense. When folks think kindness, they might just think of Fred Rogers. That's because his show was filmed at the PBS station, WQED, which is celebrating its 65th anniversary. It's perfect timing to consider the movie about Fred Rogers, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, starring Tom Hanks, coming out later this month. When we come back, Jared Soltis will be here with a look at how the fall sports season wrapped up, including the men's soccer conference championship game. That and more next in sports.
This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Remember that to love America is to love all Americans, because love has no labels.
Hi, everyone. Al Roker here. As a guy with his own catchphrase, I appreciate that after 75 years, Smokey's only said,
"Only you can prevent wildfires."
But I'm filling in because there's a lot more to report. Like when there are parched or windy conditions out there, you gotta be extra careful with things like burning yard waste. After all, wildfires can start anywhere, even in your neck of the woods. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a unique mix of all kinds of things.
Come on, Jules, spot on this last one. There it is. Keep going with it. Leo.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
Back, everybody. I'm Connor O'Malley.
And I'm Julia Florence. We're joined here now by ETV Sports' Jarrett Soltis. Jarrett, good evening.
Connor and Julie, good evening to you both. Playoffs. Yes, we're talking about playoffs in this week's show as 3 teams were competing in the LEC playoffs this past week. Let's jump right in the action as men's soccer hosted Keene State in the Little East Conference Tournament champion this past Sunday. Taking a look there, Eastern getting poised and ready to take on Keene State, and goalie Nate Howard with a shutout against Rhode Island College. He was looking to have similar results in this championship matchup. In this first half, it was a goaltender battle as Kyle Butow with a nice sliding save there in the 4th minute. And then 33 minutes later, it's going to be the Warriors on the attack. Ball is going to be sent down to Patrick Adjman. He's going to put the moves on one Keene State defender, get his right foot on it. A nice save by Howard. Ball is going to go back out to Sam Probert, but that shot's going to go wide. Now going into the second half, Keene State on the attack here. It's going to be a long through ball sent up in front of the Eastern goal. Ball bouncing around a little bit. It's going to fall right to the feet of Emmanuel Smith, and all he's got to do is tap that past Kyle Butow. So with 16 minutes left in this contest, Keene State was the first team to get themselves on the board. Take another look at that one. Ball bouncing around, and it just falls right into the lap of Smith, and he just had to tap that past Butow as he was a bit out of position. So the Keene State Owls take a commanding lead late in this one. And then the Warriors, some chances to respond here. This Ryan Soroy shot, that's going to be another nice save by Nate Howard. And then in the 84th minute of play, Mayuri going to get it up to Patrick Adjman, who then's going to get it over to Griffin Lusek. Lusek going to dribble down in the corner. Going to take a little chip shot, but that one's going to be punched over the top of the goal by Howard. He had a great game that afternoon. And then in the final seconds of play, ball going to be bouncing in front of the Keene goal. Andres Murray is going to get a foot on it, but that one's going to be saved by Howard as Keene is your 2019 Little East Conference champions. Their 7th in program history in their first under head coach Rick Scott. As you see the squad celebrating there, as they would go on to win this game 1-0. They moved to 15-6 and 6-2 in conference with their 1-0 win in the championship game. Nate Howard with 5 saves and a win for another shutout in the playoffs, and Emmanuel Smith a goal, his 12th on the season. A heartbreaking loss to end the season for sure, but a historic season for the team as they locked up the 2019 regular season championship and finished their season ranked 21st in the nation. A slew of awards were also handed out as Patrick Adjman was named Offensive Player of the Year and his brother Emmanuel was Defensive Player of the Year. The two were also named to the first team All-Conference squad, while Justin Jensen, Brendan Darcy, Will Toomey, and Andres Murray were all named to second team. Congrats to them and the rest of the squad on a great season. The week only got busier as volleyball welcomed in Plymouth State and a very exciting LEC semifinal matchup. The Panthers would go on to beat the Warriors in 5 sets, ending their season. Panthers outside hitter Francie Schaefer finished the match with 16 kills, while Lex Bowers was able to pour in 16 of her own as well. Anna Berry and Abby Stern did all they could, piling up 15 and 14 kills respectively in a heartbreaking loss. And senior Mackenzie Managia, in her final game of her career, racked up an astounding 28 assists. The Panthers will go on to lose to UMass Boston in the Little East Conference Tournament Finals when they were taken down 3-1. Postseason awards came out Tuesday where Anna Berry received Offensive Player of the Year, along with First Team All-Conference honors. Her fellow hitter Abby Stern also joined her on the All-Conference team, while sophomore libero Madison Bell was recognized with Second Team All-Conference honors. A great season for the team there as well. You see them celebrating there. The women's soccer team season came to a close last week as well, as they were taken down by UMass Boston 2-0 in last week's LEC semifinal. Despite the loss, several players were honored with all-conference mentions, as freshman Emily Belleville was recognized with first-team honors, while Linnea Rich and Emily Barada were placed on second team. Another great season for women's soccer. Eastern Athletics has been a dominant program for the last several decades. Once these athletes' 4 years are up, their lives are changed forever. We are able to catch up with a few Eastern senior athletes as they reflect on their time as a Warrior.
So what has it meant being a part of this program for the past 4 years?
I mean, for sure, my friendships have really developed throughout the soccer team. You know, these guys are my brothers now, you know, and I love all of them. They love me, so I mean, at the end of the day, I can always have my back with them.
I definitely learned a lot about myself and about what I want to do with my life. It's taught me a lot about teamwork, about handling sometimes hard situations with other people, but coming out on top from it. I'm very grateful and thankful for this experience, and I wouldn't want it at any other university.
Oh, it's been honestly incredible. It's the best college soccer experience I could have asked for. I'm honored to have played for such a successful program, and I'm happy to say that I have long-lasting friendships that I'm going to carry out with me for the rest of my life.
A nice piece put together by Tyler Madden and John Pellegrino. And Connor and Julia, the fall season has wrapped up now, some great seasons from all of these teams, but now we're moved into the winter months, and that means winter sports coming around the corner. Women's basketball, of course, the top team in the LEC preseason poll, along with men's basketball, so definitely going to be exciting to watch those two teams in winter months. And can't forget about swimming. Swimming is looking to have a good year, adding men's swimming this year, so it should be exciting to watch all these teams come the next few months.
For sure. Hopefully the girls can maybe get another winning streak this year. With that being said, we'll definitely anticipate watching them and all of our other favorite sports teams. In the meantime, that's it for this week's edition of ETV News. Be sure to check us out on all of our social media platforms and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
For Director Anthony Grancelli and all of the talented ETV News staff, I'm Connor O'Malley.
And I'm Julia Florence. Thanks for watching. Good night.